Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Jared Sheff, along with my good friend.
Artemis Brower.
We're coming to you this week with episode 222.
Triple twos.
Triple deuce. Artemis, how we doing?
We are good, brother. We are good. We are towards the end of the week. Friday is tomorrow. We are good. Got a beach trip planned for this weekend. Celebrating my brother's 21st, so looking forward to that. Life is good.
Fun. What, going down to Myrtle? Where are you going?
Carolina. Going to Carolina.
Nice. It'll be a good time. I'll be down at the beach next weekend after Christmas, and then it's still to be determined on whether I will be attending the military, but we'll see how that goes. But I guess that's a great way to just kind of drop the lead right at the beginning of it and not even build up suspense. Already, East Carolina going to the Military Bowl.
Yes.
Exciting stuff. We'll get to it here in a second, though. Artie, episode 222. Do you have a 22 for me?
Yes, very, very, very quickly. Just pulled this out the rabbit's hat, but I feel like this is a good one to do, and that is Willie O'Ree. You should know that name. Trailblazer pioneer, first Black NHL player, National Hockey League.
The Jackie Robinson of hockey.
The Jackie Robinson of hockey. That is correct. Got his jersey retired by the Bruins a few years ago, not too long ago. Number 22 jersey. Don't know too much of his stats, but definitely wanted to shout that out. Willie O'Ree, my 22 for the week.
Yeah, he had a good career. I wouldn't say he had the level of career that Jackie Robinson did, and of course,
it's hard for anybody to have a Jackie Robinson career.
Being in the in hockey, which is already such a predominantly white sport, even still to today, it was even harder it may have even been harder to break that color barrier,
right,
in the sport. So, not to take away anything from either of those men, but it was hockey's just a different sport, and I mean it's growing in the Black and African American communities, but it's still not what other sports are, like football and baseball and basketball, of course. So, Willie O'Ree. I mean, I remember watching the jersey retirement ceremony. It would be nice to retire the number league wide, but I like they did the 42, but I don't see the NHL doing that. He like I said, he didn't really have the career that Jackie Robinson did, and there's only one number retired league wide right now, and that's 99 for Wayne Gretzky, of course. So good. That's a good one, Artie. I didn't even think about that. I pulled this one off the top of my head. It's been a hellacious week, hellacious night. We thought we were talking about scrapping the podcast because I was having technical difficulties. I'm still not even signed in. I don't know how I'm recording right now. But yeah, my number 22, Atlanta Braves legend, none other, former second baseman, Marcus Giles.
Nice.
Artie, do you know anything about Marcus Giles?
None whatsoever.
Yeah, so Marcus Giles played second base for the Braves. Probably, I want to say dating back to. I'm gonna get this wrong. I would say going back to 2001, what was kind of his rookie year. Let's see here. Yeah, 2001. Wow. Okay. 2001 was his rookie year, and then was with the Braves for I guess about 3 or 4 years, and just kind of one of those old school second baseman. Like, he's not going to be your best hitter, but he's just going to be a hard-nosed second baseman, and that's the role he played. Pretty good fielder. I mean, that infield with Marcus Giles and Rafael Furcal, and then you had Chipper Jones, of course, at third base. I mean, you're talking about some stellar dudes, especially with the glove. Those were fun times in Atlanta, even though we never really won anything. He only made it to one All-Star game, so yeah, that's my 22.
Love
Marcus Giles. All right, Artie, let's we're not going to record a long podcast tonight. Like I said, we've had some scheduling problems this week, so we're just gonna get into it. ECU going to play our arch rivals, our nemesis, North Carolina State, NC State University, whatever. There's one of them that they don't like you to say NCSU or something like that. They don't like that when people say that. Kind of like when we don't like Eastern Carolina. There's one of those that they don't like, and I'm trying to remember which one it is. But ECU, NC State. It's going to be the last game of the season this year. It's going to be the first game of the season next year.
Yeah.
I think, did one of us pick this game exactly last week on the podcast? Josh, I think we were all over the Military Bowl, I know for sure, but did any of us say ECU, NC State?
I think it was just in the chat. People were saying it in the chat.
Yeah. Hey, chat's always right. Chat is always right. But yeah, ECU, NC State. It's gonna be a banger. I'm hoping to go. We're working out scheduling with my family to see if I can make it. Trying to skip part of Saturday with the fam, so I can drive 6 hours up to the DC area and then turn right around and drive 6 hours back before driving 4 hours home, which is going to be absolutely insane. But that's what you do for Pirate Nation. Artie, I want your initial thought when you saw the news that East Carolina was playing the Wolf Pups.
Yeah, it's always, you always want to look back against a team like NC State. You always want to match up against NC State. You always want to beat them. That's the team. That's our biggest rival. That's the team we hate the most. That's the team we talk the most shit about. That's the team that talks the most shit about us. That's the team that hates us. We hate them. Yada yada yada. So, and it's in the Military Bowl, a bowl game that we are very familiar with. We've been in multiple times. A stadium we've played in 1,000 times. So I'm excited for the matchup. It does take some of the luster off of that opening game.
I don't think it does.
Going into it, I think it does a little bit, just because whoever wins the game still has bragging rights. Like, we beat you in a bowl game as opposed to a regular season game. So I mean, there's going to be some bragging rights there.
But let's be honest. Like, okay, yes, a bowl game means a lot, especially when you're ECU. And
I'd rather have a bowl game victory over NC State than a regular season victory over NC State.
I agree, but already NC State season is already over. At the beginning of the year, they were talking about being a college football playoff contender, and they ended up 6-6 and playing in the Military Bowl against East Carolina, who finished with a better record than they did. Next year, they're probably going to say the same thing about NC State, or a lot of the same things about NC State. The quarterback Bailey that dude's a baller, and he worries me. There's not much else of their game that really worries me, but he worries me. And next year with him, a full off season, everybody's gonna be talking on the.
Yeah, I mean it's still ECU State. It's still gonna be a big game.
If you can go in to Carter Finley week one on where they probably have high expectations because they always do, and then they always underperform. You go in and you step on their throats week one, and you just rip their heart out, and they let them know, hey, you're still the same NC State, and you still suck. Then that means a lot to me. And yeah, I want to beat them in the bowl game. But with the transfer portal the way it is, and guys opting out and whatnot, and look, we've never been against the transfer portal. Maybe I wish that it happened a little bit differently, but we're never going to be against it. But with that, like, this game kind of loses its luster to me. Like, some of these bowl games. Like I'm like, yeah, I really want to play in them, but
you've got key guys that contributed mightily this season that are not going to be there.
You're missing a majority of like your starting defense, right? Yeah, you're missing 3 guys.
Yeah.
Not to mention your star cornerback in Siobhan Rebel, like who you've been missing all year, and he's going to the draft. You've got a lot of guys that you're missing on defense, so it's not going to be the same as what we've been riding with all year through the ups and downs and the guys that we've been pulling for, because some of them are gone, right? You talk about like a Zakai Barker, an IBM. Who else am I missing on the defense? CJ Mims.
Mims, yeah.
You talk about those guys missing, and it's hard to say, okay, yeah, this is the same team that won. What did we win? 7 games this year? So this is the same team that won 7 games. It's not the same team. Not to mention you've lost Chase Sowell. You've also lost Javius Bond. They're both in the portal. Javius Bond doesn't surprise me. Sowell surprised me a little bit, but at the same time,
that surprised me a little bit because I thought he found a little bit of a home here. He knew he was going to be the guy going forward. Like
and everything that it always seemed like the fans loved. It seemed like from my perspective, the fans loved him. His family loved ECU. They were some of the ones that were like most about, hey, let's hire Harrell. And okay, now you don't play the last 3 games of the season, basically, and now you're in the portal. I don't know. And then like losing a guy like Zakai Barker, who is the heartbeat of your defense.
That's the worst one.
That's your Mike linebacker.
Losing Zakai Barker, to me, that's the one that's like, wow, that really, really hurts. That hurts.
And the fact that he turned down 6 figures in NIL.
Yeah.
And just to go say, hey, I want to go play in a bigger conference. All right, you're going to go play in the ACC. The ACC.
The thing is, a lot of these kids don't understand that, and you learn this in life as you get older. You go into the workforce. Sometimes the grass ain't green on the other side.
It's not.
Sometimes you jump and you realize, no, I was way better off where I was at. Like,
and Steven Igo put out he's been following all the PFF grades, and that's something that's way over my head. I don't get paid enough to follow the PFF grades, and maybe Josh can explain it better than I can. But really, there wasn't any transfers that transferred to P4 schools that really had an impact, I think, other than like Nishad Strother, offensive lineman at Oregon. So that's really the only one.
That's not to say Barker's not going to go somewhere and be a stud.
No,
absolutely. He can absolutely go somewhere and perform, start, play well. I get why you make the move. Right?
I do too.
But you stay at ECU, you're going to be the guy. You're going to get your reps. You're going to have NFL scouts looking at you the same way here as they would be at a Clemson or South Carolina, what have you, if you're that dude. So,
look at what I don't get is you want to play in a bigger conference or whatever. I get that. Look at what Siobhan Rebel has done. That man has missed a majority of the year, his last year of college, with a torn ACL, and he's still projected first round.
Yep.
At little old East Carolina.
My biggest question for people who go into the portal from ECU level schools is the goal the NFL? Because to me, the way I see it, we have NFL scouts at the game at every single home game.
Every game.
So they've got to be at every single. You're being seen in person by those who will be influencing the hiring.
Right.
Like what they write up is what's on your name. Like it's not like. So that's my only thing. Is like if it's about the money, then cool, I get it. Like if you don't see a future in the NFL and this is your time to get the bag, grab it. But
right.
Otherwise, like if it's about going to the NFL,
and maybe for some, it's also about competing for championships. They want to go to a bigger school. They want to compete for a natty or
yeah, but
a title, what have you.
If that's the case, and they're going to these schools, and honestly, let's take a step back. If you are a top end group of 5, group of 4, whatever you want to call it now, conference, if you're a top end program in one of those conferences, really in the American or in the Mountain West, really, if you're one of those top end programs, you're going to be competing for a championship. You are. I mean, we saw it with Boise State is the 3rd seed, the 3 seed in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Even though they're ranked 9th in the rankings, I believe.
Yeah, that's only a 1 year thing. You're not going to see that next year.
I don't know. They should keep it. They should keep it, but they should keep it. But these bitch ass motherfuckers at these SEC schools that are bitching about, oh well, we play a hard strength of schedule. The strength of schedule is a flawed metric. It's a flawed metric, and you want to go off that? I don't know. Alabama shouldn't have been anywhere close.
The only thing I'll say to that is that it should be ranked like by your ranking, right? Like it shouldn't be automatic qualifiers for conference champions. It should be the top 4 teams in the country get a bye. That's how every
there should be. There should be automatic qualifiers for conference champions
in every sport.
There should be a automatic qualifier for conference champions to make it into the college football playoff.
Yes, I don't into the college football playoff.
What I don't agree with is saying, okay, the G5 representative has to be the 12th ranked team, and I'm glad that the college football playoff committee got it right. I am, because they could have very well said, no, we're going to rank them 20th just because and put them that far back. But adding that the top 5 conference champions get into the college football playoff, now that you really only have 4 autonomous conferences, what that does is it makes the college football playoff committee pay more attention to the G5 games. And we've seen it this year. It felt like this year there was more group of 5 teams ranked than there has been in the last decade since the college football playoff started. So that was nice to see.
I agree.
Josh,
we got on a tangent there. We were talking about portal, then we started talking about college.
But no, these guys, and a lot of them would still, if they're going to be top end draft picks, a lot of them are still going to say, you know what, I'm going to sit out the college football playoff because I can't run the risk of playing 3 more games.
I don't think they're sitting out the playoff. You have a chance to go to the playoff. These guys aren't sitting out the playoff. They're not. Nobody's sitting out this year, Jared. Who's sitting out? Who's opting out of the playoff?
Well, this year
opted out of the playoff in years prior.
There's got to have been guys that have opted out
of the playoff.
Yeah,
a bowl game is one thing. The playoff.
I'm pretty sure there's guys that have opted out of the playoffs. Josh, maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, Josh, I don't remember. You might be right on like maybe 2 or 3. I don't remember.
But still, like anybody opting out, like you're playing for a championship. You think back in the day that these guys were opting out of the BCS title game?
No, if you have an opportunity to play for a championship, championship. This is why you play football.
You put it on the line.
You've been playing Pop Warner since you were 5. Like go play.
Right. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the coming years. I think that I don't think it'll be long before we have 16 teams in the college football playoff, and rightfully so.
I don't know.
It doesn't add any more. It doesn't add any more time to the season. It doesn't add any more time to the season. And what you may see this year, I mean, I don't think you'll see it, but it doesn't change the schedule.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you do 16, the regular season has to mean something. I don't
It does
want to
mean
be a
something.
4-loss champion. That's why I didn't want Alabama getting in over SMU.
And they didn't.
Over SMU, right? I don't want a 3 or 4-loss champion. I don't want them to even have an opportunity to compete for a championship.
Already, Alabama, there was no shot in hell that Alabama was winning a national championship this year because they suck. And I called it that they sucked, just like I called that Miami sucked earlier in the year.
You go to 16, now you're telling me that 8-4 Missouri gets in at 16 and they run the table. You're telling me they're the best team in the country? Like
you would probably add another automatic qualifier for a conference champion. So that probably gets the American Conference champion in. And honestly, Army should have probably been in. Granted, their strength of schedule, which I already said is a flawed metric.
Army was never getting over Boise.
I never said that they should have been, but you could have made a case that, hey, they should have been ranked higher and at least been considered. Being 11-1 with your only loss being to Notre Dame, yes, it's not a 1-point loss.
Jumping that's already in the field.
What's that?
Who are they jumping that's already in the field?
I don't know. But see, you get to 16 teams and you're not having to worry about that. And then I think you're getting the best. I think you're getting the most complete football that you can. Look, Bryson Daly, the fact that he wasn't considered for the Heisman is asinine. Same number of touchdowns as Ashton Jeanty?
Yeah, he might have more.
I think I know at one point I was flipping back and forth between the games. Bryson Daly tied him, and then I flipped back over to the Boise State game, and 30 seconds later, Jeanty breaks off a 60-yard touchdown run.
Well, look, they've already got the best running back in the country. That you can't have two. So,
he's not a running back; he's a quarterback.
You still gotta. Well, yeah, he's a quarterback, but you still gotta have your usual suspects. You got to meet your quota of that.
I'm preparing myself for Travis Hunter to win because he's played too many snaps.
Look, if Travis Hunter wins, it's because he deserves it. There's only one person competing with him, and that's Ashton Jeanty. That's the only person in the country you can compare to Travis Hunter.
Do you see Shadur's mad because he wasn't invited to the Heisman? He didn't make the finalists.
Was he not a finalist? I didn't see that.
Nope.
Who were the finalists? I know
it was Hunter, Dylan Gabriel, and then Cam Ward.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I
would take those four over Shador. Now Shador got right there at 5, but yeah, I think those 4 had better seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. I would have liked to see another group of 5 guy in there, but all right. Anything else on the transfer portal? I mean, did we miss anybody? Bryson Harrison. I mean,
we got Mims. We got Zakai.
Kerry King. That was a big one. Ryan Kerry Stevens.
King. You're right.
So, but you're not really losing much on. You're not really losing much on offense right now. It's interesting that where you're losing is on the defense, considering Blake Harrell was the defensive coordinator. But really the big names. I think you survive it, and I'm sure his dad will turn this into a clip. I think you survive losing Chase Sowell. I think you survive the drop passes and the underrun routes. I think you do.
Yeah.
Okay. I like Chase. I think he's a good football player. But throughout the course of the season, he lost. He came into the season being the surefire number 1, and throughout the season, whether it be by injury or by skill, or not really skill, but you know what I'm saying, numbers.
Right.
He got surpassed by Winston Wright and Anthony Smith, and then at the end of the season, even Yannick Smith was challenging him for touches. So, yeah, I don't think you're missing much there. IBM, that's a big loss. Zakai, we've already talked about him, and then CJ Mims. Those are the 3 big ones. But I've seen
on defense too.
I've seen this coaching staff and when I say coaching staff, I've seen Blake Harrell go in and pull in transfers from Power 4 schools and plug them in, and they make an impact right away. I mean, I think about a Gavin Gibson type or a Raheem Craig. Both those guys had great seasons this year, right? Both P4 transfers. Yeah. So I think that they can do it. I'm not – that's what you're going to see. You're going to have a different roster every year. You're going to have some of the same faces, but the days of having a fan favorite there all 5 years are probably long gone, and that's sad for the sport. I mean, to have somebody like a Rajay Harris who has been through it all and stuck with it, that's that. I mean, it's going to be fewer and far between.
I agree.
All right. What's next? Bold prediction review. Josh, do you want to lead this part?
Bold predictions.
I can't see
like
if you're shaking your head.
3 years ago.
Here we go. So at the beginning of the season, I believe it was right before the season. Right before the season. I had a hard time finding this video, but I dug deep and I went through and watched all of the bold predictions that we had before the season started. So I'm going to start off with the losers. I was the first loser. I called that there would be a three-way tie at the top of the American. Wasn't quite a three-way tie, but it was pretty tight. Jared, your Brock Spalding.
Oh, that was prediction.
Bad.
You know, unfortunately, Brock got injured, so
yeah,
we never saw the full potential.
That was being fully transparent. That was based off of some of the stuff that I'd seen in camp, but also talking to him and talking to other people about him, going through like media day and whatnot. So yeah, it just never panned out, but he still got some time. Next year. There's always next year.
Artie, your worst prediction was that the Cornhuskers were back and that they had the chance to go 7-0 to start the season.
I think they did start like 5-2 though. I think
they did start pretty good.
Yeah, they did start pretty good. Look, I was good for a long time, and then they fell off a cliff. They did typical Nebraska football. I think they finished 6-6, whatever. I don't know. They fell off a cliff. So yeah, I still believe in Matt Rule though. I still think they might be all
right. But Artie, you did have one of the best picks in my well.
This is a wild pick.
Jared had a good one, but this one was a really good one by you, Artie. That a team that was picked to finish between 3 and 7 in the American by the media preseason would win the conference championship.
Pulled that out of your ass.
Those teams were USF, Army, FAU, ECU, and Rice. Only one really had a shot.
Yeah, it was only one. And it was the one that won it. So, but you know what? I'll take it. I was right. I'll take it.
Hey, I mean, let's not act like ECU didn't have a chance to finish third in the conference.
They did. They definitely did.
We did. Jared, you actually somehow got this right. That ECU could be 7-5 or will end up 3-9.
Look, it there for a little bit. Now it was better than 3-9, but there for a minute it looked like it was going to go the 3-9 route, even though we should probably be the 7-5 route. And then we turned it around and got to the 7-5. I'm pleasantly surprised by that, honestly.
Yeah,
I think we all are.
And then just to recap, two other ones that were close. Jared thought that Andrew Conrad would hit a 55-yarder this season. He hit a 52. You know, got close, but never got the shot at the 50.
You said he was going to do it at Army.
Yeah, I said he was going to do it at Army, but he did hit the 52 at Army, right?
I think he hit didn't he hit 252s this year?
Yeah, he did. I think one was at Army. So
yeah.
All right, and that was really all we had. All the other ones were less.
Yeah. Hey, and how is the ECU finished top 3 in the American? We were down to the wire with it. I think that needs to be yellow.
We didn't win. We didn't beat Navy.
Right.
We had it all in our hands. That's why it's not yellow. It's in the red. It's in the red.
The fact that we had a chance the last week of the season, I feel like it should be yellow. That's just me.
You don't get half your money back when only one leg of the parlay fails.
When you do the round robins, you get a little bit back.
That's true.
Don't bet the round robins. I know, Josh, that's your thing, but like
that's my thing.
It's you spend too much money on it, and you're probably gonna end up losing all of them. All right, what's next? Trivia. Did you have?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna ask you guys the questions. Let you guess as to who these players are. These are ECU players. And just thought that we could highlight some of the things that happened this year. So, which defensive player had the most all-purpose yards for ECU this season?
Jamarly Riddle.
And can you name how many yards he had?
I want to say it's probably close to. It's probably close to like. I feel like I'm gonna say too few. Because he was returning punts and kickoffs there for a little bit, wasn't he?
He was.
I'm gonna say like 215.
215
on the dot.
Artie, you want it above or below 215?
All-purpose yards.
All-purpose yards.
I'm gonna go above. I'm gonna say.
I think it could be like anywhere between 215 and 275.
He had 89 all-purpose yards.
And wait, because he had the what he had the 2 pick sixes, right?
Yeah. Hey, punt return was not a good thing for us this season.
Yeah, well, no, it hasn't been for we haven't had a punt return for a touchdown in like 23 years.
Yeah.
Geez, I feel like maybe I was thinking that the pick sixes were more yards returned.
No,
I know one was like at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, one of them was a 46-yarder.
Yeah.
All right.
Was that the North? I think that was the North Texas one.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
How many 1,000 all-purpose yard players did ECU have this season?
2.
Artie saying 2. Can you name them?
Well, Raj is 1.
Raj is 1.
And I'm gonna say Winston Wright's the second one.
Winston Wright is the second one.
So are those the only 2?
Who has more? Yes, those are the only 2. Who has the most?
Ooh,
who has the most?
Winston Wright.
Winston Wright.
Yeah.
1255.
Yeah, because he's got like, I think he's got like 150, 200 some rushing. He's got all his receiving yards, and then of course he had that like a 100-yard 100-yard kickoff return against Charlotte.
Yep.
Plus, I mean, the dude could have broke several more. He was returning the ball to like the 30, 40-yard line like it was nothing, it seemed like.
That's
so
good year for Winston. Good year.
Yeah. That dude made him some money this year.
Next one. Which offensive players had the most recorded tackles this season? We had a lot of interceptions, had a lot of fumbles. There's a lot of chances here.
I'm pretty sure Raj is on that list too.
Yeah. Okay. I could see Raj being there.
So we got 1.
I want to say
I don't know outside of that.
The second one upsets me until I realized he also did play like I think a little special teams, but it kind of hurt my feelings.
I'm trying to think who played.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Outside of Raj, I don't know who else would have the most tackles offensively.
They both have the same number of tackles of 2.
It's not Jari, is it?
It is.
It
is.
Okay.
Look at that.
It sucks. It
Casual
sucks
fan.
because
Casual
it
fan.
sucks. It sucks because to me that means he probably had a catch right there, and something happened and it was interception. Like, and that's how I read that stat.
Jake Garcia just throws it as fast as he can and doesn't even see his receiver. Triple covered.
The last question. What player leads the team in interceptions? There are 2 of them that are tied.
Gavin Gibson, Jamarly Riddle.
Yeah, I was gonna guess Riddle.
Okay.
And I guess I'll go Gibson on that.
You are correct. How many?
3
interceptions. 3 apiece. 3. Who is in second place or third place?
I want to say it's either Danka or IBM.
Artie, you got a guess?
Yeah, I would probably. I'm gonna go IBM.
No, is it Siobhan?
It is Siobhan Ravel with 2.
Wow. Oh yeah, that's because he did have the 2 at the beginning. That's right, he did.
Had he finished the season healthy, he probably could have had 4 or 5.
Yeah, that man was
that guy was on pace to put up Jaquan McMillan numbers.
Yes. Maybe it was surpassing.
Yeah. Like what Jaquan have, like 6 that year?
6, yeah.
I mean, and then he had a pick 6 last week?
2 weeks ago, yeah, for Denver.
2 weeks ago for Denver.
That is a painful stat right there. That is a painful stat right there. And that's all the trivia I've got for you.
Well, we'll have to do more of that.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, that was fun. I feel better about myself because we didn't seem like idiots.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like for me to have kept the answers where I've kept them, like for you guys to have answered them like that was pretty good.
ECU football.
Look, we could probably Artie and I could probably make a decent like football trivia team.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the 3 minds on this podcast.
Yeah, no, we could kill some football trivia.
I think really like all sports we could if we took all the 4 major sports, I feel like we could do really well in trivia.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have a third party guest on to just run through a trivia show. Like that's something we'll do in the off season. Just 100 questions. Let's see how many we get right between the 3 of us. All sports.
That'd be something.
I could be with it.
Or we just do 1 trivia question a week from now on about anything.
Trivia question of the day. Okay.
Put that in there.
Put that in the notes.
All right. Just some around ECU athletics. I'm not going to talk about all of them. The big one today was Gary Higgins, the softball coach, or softball.
No, softball, soccer.
The SO already, the soccer coach who led ECU to what was it, their best season in program history, if not second best season in program history, leaves for
that other school in Raleigh, and that one hurt. So we'll see what ECU does from here, but and then there was some news today, right, Josh, about the American Athletic Conference. Who was it? JMU, Liberty.
JMU, Liberty, and Marshall joined as affiliate members for swimming and diving. Also announced that the swimming and diving championship has moved to Greensboro, North Carolina, at the Greensboro Aquatic Center.
Oh, hell yeah!
Conference in 2026.
Right in our backyard.
That's 20 minutes away.
I'm gonna be over near there next week for Disney on Ice. I'm really looking forward to Elsa, guys. No,
we know why you're going. It's okay.
Hey, it's I'm a proud dad. All right, volleyball season ends with a tough loss to UConn on home court. Men's basketball, they're on a 3-game slide. I don't even want to talk about men's basketball until the end of football season, and honestly, until probably the national championship game is over, because they've done it again, Artie.
I mean, I try to tell you, man. I try to look. I will wake up from my slumber on ECU basketball when they make me wake up.
And what infuriates me is they have all the investment in the world. They brought in Mike Schwartz, who was supposed to be the big up and coming next coach, and not a damn thing has changed. I swear that I know there's somebody on Twitter that says that Minji's was built on a Indian burial ground. It might very well be. I don't know. North Alabama? And then did you see the video of them celebrating in the locker room?
Yeah.
It looked like they had just beat Duke.
Came into our building.
It was a buyout.
Yeah. No, anytime you see Rothstein tweet the epitome of brutality about your school, it's a bad day.
How you gonna pay somebody to kick your ass? That's crazy.
Come in your crib and snap your chain. No, all right. Women's basketball not off to a great start. 5-4. They have played. They've played a little bit tougher of a schedule, but still nothing world class. Of course, they do have the loss to South Carolina, the number 1 team in the country. But then they beat Norfolk on Sunday, and they beat Hampton earlier today. That was I think that was like the school kids day. They played at like 11 o'clock today, so that was nuts. Anything else around ECU athletics?
Nope.
I don't think that we've had the baseball schedule fully released yet. Some dates are out there, like some of the NC State dates are out there. I think April 12th is one to look out for. I've heard that Virginia Tech, it might be in the LeClaire Classic, so stay tuned on that. So we'll see what happens there, but I don't have any other details on who else will be in it.
That'll be a good one.
Yeah, it will be. All right. Anything else? Let's get to gambling corner and let's get the hell out of here.
Let's do it.
All right, really quickly, just to update the stats. We're only going to care about the outright now at this point. So Jared is currently 48-25 overall. I am 49-24 overall. And Artie is taking the lead with a 50-23 record right now. 3 games this week, all on Saturday. Forgot that Army Navy doesn't mean nearly as much as it used to. But Army Navy. The 6.5 point spread, Army is currently favored, 39.5 points over under. We're just taking the winners here. With that information, I'm taking Army.
Okay.
Yeah, if Army plays the way that they did last week against Tulane, they'll boat race Navy. Yeah,
no, I'm hoping this game's a classic because it could be. I mean, 19-4 combined records. Both these teams are really, really good. But yes, if Army plays their best ball, they're going to win this game. They just are. So Army.
All right, and then following that, you have the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. The SWAC champion Jackson State goes to play the MEAC champion South Carolina State. South Carolina State is 2.5 point favorite. Not sure I like that line. The over-under is 53.5. From what I know about the motivations of these two teams, I'm taking South Carolina State by like 6.
Okay. The one thing I'll say about this game, this is why I do respect Deion Sanders, because he didn't lead that program in shambles, right? When he left it in good standing. Jackson State still sitting here, SWAC champions, still competing in the Celebration Bowl, even after life after Deion. So good for them. South Carolina State's also had a pretty good season. I'm going to go Jackson State, though. I'm going to go Jackson State.
I'll be honest, I have no clue about anything about either of these teams. I hope they both have a good time. I'm kidding. I really don't know anything about either of these teams, but
I'll put it like this: South Carolina State has the Deion Sanders of the HBCU world right now, in terms of he was a D3 coach, came up and brought a whole lot of D3 kids and won the conference in season 1. Jackson State's like won 3 of the last 4 SWAC championships, so they're kind of old.
Yeah, they've been there.
Point, so
yeah, I know Jackson State's been there. I'm gonna take South Carolina State. I don't know.
Smart man, don't worry.
I'm gonna follow. I'm gonna follow Josh on this one. Nothing against you, Artie.
No taking.
And then the last game of the week,
bowl game.
Yeah, this is a bowl game. Whatever First Responders Bowl, I think it was called. Don't really remember. South Alabama.
Jesus Christ.
Against Western Michigan. Who knows the name of the bowl? Who knows where it's at? But Western Michigan is a 7.5-point dog in a bowl game where neither one of your teams have people really transferring out. That's crazy. Over on the 7.5.
Interesting enough, Laith Marjan, former kicker at ECU, has entered the transfer portal from South Alabama.
And so because of that, I'm going to take South Alabama.
Okay. Artie?
Yeah, another Michigan team plays another Alabama team later in the bowl season for the second year in a row. And I think it's the Reliant Quest Bowl I think we played them in.
Yes.
Pretty sure that is. But I'm going South Alabama in this one. I don't know much about either one of these teams, to be honest with you. But South Alabama just feels more familiar to me. I feel like they probably should win this game. So I'm going to go South Alabama.
Yeah, I feel like South Alabama. I like South Alabama here. I liked the Major Applewhite hiring. I really wanted him at ECU last year when they were hiring a new offensive coordinator. I really liked him in that role, and I thought he would be a candidate for the head coaching position at ECU this year. But yeah, I like what he's done there. So I'm gonna go South Alabama, and then this is the. I looked it up. It's the. It almost. They got to change this name.
What are we talking about?
The way it reads, it says IS4S Salute to Veterans Bowl. But when I looked at it at first glance, I thought it said ISIS Salute to Veterans Bowl. What is that even mean?
It's technically like a salute service bowl, so that's great.
Yeah.
The ISIS Salute to Service First Responders Bowl.
Mm. Yeah, they're really going through it over there in Syria right now. So, but we won't get into that. Walk the plank. Anybody got to walk the plank?
I don't think I do. I don't think I have one this week.
Nick Saban at the college football playoff selection show.
Oh, well, yeah. He's going to be a homer for Alabama.
I loved it. And then also, it'll be interesting to see what happens at Carolina over the next couple of years.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even mention Chapel Bill.
Or Dan Mullen. The man we missed, Dan Mullen.
Yeah. Is he there? Is he on staff there?
UNLV, head coach.
Oh, because Odom went to Purdue.
Oh, Dan Mullen's going to UNLV?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's better go win the Mountain West.
You don't know who's looking up, bro.
He's
Dan
better
Mullen-
take it. He's better take it to the next level.
Yeah, they're looking up.
Yeah,
I wouldn't mind that. If not for Harrell, I would have really liked him on the sideline.
I think a lot of people would
really like Dan Mullen.
I'm honestly really surprised that more didn't come from that.
Yeah.
It seemed like there was mutual interest from both sides. The way that the Huff was Charles Huff, former Marshall head coach, the way that all that was handled, everybody knew he was wanting out, and then he left right after winning the conference championship. But he was kind of pushed out because he didn't want to renegotiate the terms of his contract, even though he was needing a new contract. It's weird, but he leaves to go to Southern Miss. Just absolutely insane. Sean Clark at App State gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
A lot of carousel.
How we feeling about the Charlotte hire though? Real quick. Josh, your thoughts? I know you don't like it from an ECU perspective or from a Charlotte perspective?
From a football perspective.
Why is that?
I want winners to be hired. I want people who have shown that they can sustain a program to be hired.
But he said what, 3 straight seasons of 10 wins in the MAC? I mean, granted it's the MAC, but
yes. Go to the Sun Belt first, or come from FCS before you get elevated from the MAC, in my opinion.
MAC taking shots.
The MAC is just the highest level of high school football there is in Ohio.
Like that's get in on some action, Josh. Get in on some action.
That's literally what it is. Like these are they are named after the small towns in the north, in the Midwest and Northeast, and they literally are regional level high school teams.
Yeah,
best players from
it's just glorified junior college at this point.
Yeah,
it's not even FCS.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
At least FCS programs, the good ones, at least still have fans there. Nobody is going to MAC games on a Tuesday night.
Tuesday and Wednesdays is awful. Absolutely awful.
I turned on an Eastern Michigan game, and they have that god awful gray field.
And it's Tuesday night, and it's like 30 degrees outside, and these people have lives. Nobody's going to these games.
And I've said it about the Miami, like the University of Miami, not Miami of Ohio, but in Florida. I've said about their fan base. They've just got like normal adult people. It's not like the students. They're just like, yeah, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, so I'm a Miami Hurricanes fan, so I go to the games. No, MAC fans, they have like a small student section. It kind of reminds me of Tulsa. Tulsa belongs in the MAC. Tulsa is basically a MAC school. Let's be honest. Let's call a spade. You're the smallest school in FBS. You got like an enrollment of 4,000 students. You got 1% of your student population, or 2% of your student population is what? On the football team? Like, what are we talking about? No. But you've got these fans that go to the games, and they look like somebody was at work and was like, hey, I got these tickets. It comes with a free hot dog and a warm beer.
Because it got enough free beer and a 2 hot dog special.
Yeah, I'll take my neighbor's kid so she can smoke her Pall Malls outside. No, like, shut the fuck up.
That's actually a good representation of who's coming to this game.
Trust me. The Eastern Michigan like stuff. Yeah, it's probably. I was gonna say something. I mean, You know, Eminem's mom passed away, but she would have been somebody that would have been at these games.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, we've lost the rails. We've lost the rails.
That's it.
Don't shoot the messenger. All right. Anything else? If not, make sure you subscribe to the Boneyard Podcast on YouTube and follow us on social media at Boneyard Podcast. Also, give us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts and leave us a comment there. If you do, you're a friend of the podcast for life. If you don't, walk the damn plank. Let's go bowling, y'all. Artie, let's get out of here.
Let's do it. Let's go bowling. Let's get this dub against them Wolf Puppies. As always, Pirate Nation, stay safe out there. Happy holidays to you as we get to these traveling situations upcoming. Wash your hands, wash your butts. Until next time, deuce.
Go damn Pirates.